unfortunate that people are still stuck in that with that life, with that mentality, because I'd like to think that you can be all things. I mean, like, my grandmother used to say that a woman should be she should be all things to her man. She should be a gourmet chef in the kitchen, and a mother to his bruised ego, and a nurse when he's sick, and a gracious host to his guests and his business associates. And if you can be all these things, then he'll seek for nothing. And I think separating those two, like saying that you can only be, I want a woman in public, and I want I want my woman to be this soft-spoken, strong, independent, educated woman, but I need to find somebody else that I can fuck. Like, is so immature. It's like, for lack of a better word, it's like why can't your woman be smart and sexy and sophisticated and still like to fuck? It's like, we don't want to believe. It's like we're still trying to taper a woman's sexuality and believe that women can't have that kind of, the same kind of desire and drive as a man does. And it's unfortunate that as long as that continues to happen, we're going to continue to see more marriages breaking up, and more unsatisfied women, and more men cheating, and more women cheating. And it's like, because we all have the same desires, but people just don't want to believe that, a good woman, a woman worth having and keeping, would have that, would be that way.
You just dropped all kinds of heat and knowledge and reality. People gonna get mad too, but that's fine.
But it's the truth. It's like, I'm working on a book right now titled "How to Love a Whore." It's a gentleman's guide to dating and loving a sex worker, but really I am focusing on not just people that have sex for a living, but also people that are whores in the other sense of the word, and so, that people that sacrifice their personal beliefs for personal gain. And one of the things my boyfriend and I were talking about was, as I started working on this book, was that as men you are not taught. As men you are taught that you're not supposed to date a whore. You're not supposed to wife a whore. What's the most famous saying in the street is, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. But what if a housewife is a whore? Like, for her man, it's like, or if a housewife is, like, I embrace the word whore, because even though I fuck on film, I fuck on film. That's what I do. I make money by having sex for a living. It may be on camera and not on a street corner, but I embrace the word whore and what it represents. But to me, it's like, I can get up like my average day, I'll get up in the morning, my average shoot day, because I don't shoot every day. I shoot maybe 5 days a month. But my average shoot day, I get up in the morning, I take the kids to school, I go, I make breakfast, take her to school, go to set, get into makeup, shoot a scene, which is usually anal, and then I go back to, and then I take a shower on set, I get dressed, I go pick up the kid from school, I sit her down to do homework, I make her a snack, and I start dinner, check my emails, call my boyfriend. It's like, I still have a well-rounded life. And if you haven't seen my Ustream videos of me, my Ustream live cast of me cooking, I'm not like a box dish type of girl.
I've read the Twitters, like you cook. Yo, I'm making the salmon with the extra special sauce and the
cedar wraps Asian salmon with vegetables, and it's like, but I believe that I can be all things. Like, what I do doesn't define me, and it's like, much like, we put too much emphasis in this country on occupation, and the occupations that people tend to believe are respectable just because you have a respectable job doesn't make you a respectable person. When you look at, I always tell people, when you look at the show, like To Catch a Predator, there were lots of priests and rabbis and school teachers and principals and Homeland Security workers. But not one porn star, not one stripper, not one not one porn director showed up at some at a house looking to have sex with an underage kid. But lots of people with respectable jobs. So it's like who you are. It's like we put too much emphasis on people having a real job or and it's like as far as I'm concerned, what I do is a real job, but I don't. It doesn't have to be who I am. I'm able to leave what I do on set until I close my bedroom door with my partner at night. What was the first question?
How do you date?
How do you date somebody?
How do you date? Get in a relationship with someone who's a sex worker?
It's very, very carefully. But yeah, the book is basically kind of a soft guideline.
Open your mind up a little bit. Huh?
It's it's just kind of a set of common sense rules on how to date someone that does not have a traditional job, and works in the sex industry. Things like, checking your jealousy and insecurity at the door and making sure that you yourself can really deal with that person's occupation before jumping into a relationship with them, managing and maintaining expectations, establishing expectations, first and foremost. I mean, there are a lot of things that you would, and that goes for any relationship, but especially one where the person that you're with has an alternative occupation. And the same could be said for how to date a hip-hop star. I mean, it's like if you're going to be with someone who spends 8 months of their life on the road, you can't fly out to every date that they do, in another town. You have to be able to maintain your own life. You can't make their job your life, and their job can't be your occupation too. There can only be one celebrity in the relationship.